This is Sergio from MMA-Prospects.com. I am joined by Carlos Lozoya. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that was right. That was right.
So first things first, man, how are you doing? For people who don't know, you just got into a fight over the weekend successfully. How are you feeling after the fight?
I feel good. It wasn't anything I didn't expect already. I knew he'd be really, really tough, so try to finish him a lot. But I mean, that kid's tough.
Yeah, do you like? I can only imagine that the satisfaction is 10 times greater when you're able to finish your opponent. But you got your hand raised. So how do you assess your performance looking back?
I think it was good. I mean, I've always known like my grappling, my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu is like usually a lot better than most people that I fight. Um, I thought his hands were really good. I think just being more comfortable with throwing, being more comfortable on my feet. You know, I am comfortable, but just something about a fight. I've been dropped before in a fight, so it's always been like in my mind, you know, to keep my hands up and kind of be patient. But I'm pretty content. I think there's a lot of things I can work on still, but I'm content with how the fight went.
So I want to talk a little bit about your layoff. I mean, before this fight, we hadn't seen you since November of 2019. Obviously, the pandemic played a huge factor in that as well. But you also talked about some knee surgery before we started airing. What exactly happened with your knee? Was it just some lingering damage from before? Was it a tear? What exactly happened?
So I work out a lot, and not only just for fighting. I've been in the military for like 7 years, and I started getting this weird pain in my knee, and I'm assuming it probably happened just from running or rucking or something like that. Actually, I think I know. I'm pretty sure it happened like when I was like rucking up this mountain, and I like kind of like twisted my leg a little bit, but I didn't think anything of it. But kind of still lingered, and one day it was like a move being shown on me, and then my knee like barely twisted. It was like a small little tiny movement, and my leg just locked out, and I couldn't move. I literally could not move my leg at all. And then I got my MRI for it, and then it was a flip meniscus. So like to me, I was like, oh, meniscus, that's not a big deal. But then it was like an 8 month recovery from my meniscus. So and I couldn't even bear weight for 8 weeks, and because they had to suture it, and they wanted it to heal back up, because otherwise the ultimatum would have been like getting rid of my meniscus and then having like a complete knee replacement in like 15 years. So, but yeah, now I feel good. And then I got a second surgery just to like debris it, and that one was easy. It was just like a 2 weeks, and I was training again. So, but
I mean, obviously, pretty early in your career to be getting a surgery like that of that magnitude, but timing, I mean, was great, right? Pandemic and everything like that. It
yeah,
was probably a pretty good time to get that surgery because most people are out anyway.
hmm yeah,
So
kind of lucky, and then the army takes care of me anyways. So all I got to do is work, and then friggin', I was fine. It was like nothing ever happened, and honestly, my knee feels amazing. I don't even notice it now. So.
how do you balance both? I mean, I'm sure that like, you look at the guys in the UFC, Brian Stan, all these guys who have had military backgrounds, and I can only imagine the balance being able to do that, also have time to train, and then make time for fights. How is that balance?
It's hard, and when I first started doing it, so like my first fight back, because I had like I think like a 3 year layoff from 2016 to about, I think it, or maybe a 2 year layoff, but I was doing like nothing but training for the military, and I was like literally in school for like about 3 years, and but then I started like feeling empty without fighting. I wasn't myself, and I've been training like for a long, long time. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a very long time. But when I was like, I was still like really active. I was still doing things like all these army schools, and but I just felt empty, and I was like really depressed, and uh, I remember my friend invited me over to this gym, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I haven't trained in a couple of years, literally, and I remember I just did jujitsu again, and it was like I don't like it was like the one of the best feelings of my life. Like I felt it was like such a huge relief. I was like, man, I can't believe I let go of this for a couple of years, and I like, I've been competing since I was a kid, and then I wrestled through high school and college, and competed in college, and after college, I was like, man, what do I gotta do now? And I still wanted to compete, so I was like, started fighting professionally, and then went to the army, and then I didn't have that anymore. So I like at the end of the day, like I just love fighting. I just love competing. So that's all it was. And but it was really hard, balancing that life. Like I'd be like gone in the field for like a month or something like that, and and you don't get to exactly like meal plan and like work out your diets or work out like while you're like in the army, but yeah, I just made it work. I really wanted it. So like I'll get done with work. Sometimes I'd have like 13-hour shifts and get done with work. I'll work out, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll go to sleep, and I'll wake up at like 4 in the morning, go work, and just repeat. So it was hard, but it was worth it. So
Yeah, I think that military mentality has to be so like ingrained in you, and I can only imagine how much of a benefit that is when it comes to MMA. I mean, there's probably nothing you can see in an octagon that you haven't experienced in boot camp. Like I feel like
yeah.
that training has to be huge, a huge benefit for MMA as well.
Yeah, and it's vice versa too, because uh, so I went through Ranger School, and I remember like going through Ranger School. I just remember the days I would cut weight, like in wrestling, and I'd be like, man, this is nothing compared to like when I wrestled, And then vice versa, like I was like in Ranger Battalion for a few years, and um, you know having that structure, and then like putting that structure into like training, or just like work in general, or like in anything in life. I feel like it's just made me a better fighter and better person. Being having that structure and knowing what you need to do to be successful in like anything. But yeah, it's definitely like martial arts has helped me a lot throughout my military career, and then vice versa. My being in the military has helped me a lot with like everything in life. So it's tough, but I like it. I like working. It's weird. I really do like to. I really do enjoy just like being uncomfortable sometimes. Whether it's like doing something I don't like, or just having a really hard workout, or just training. I love it.
There's a few things about your. I mean, I was scrolling through your topology, looking at your career, and there's a few things that really stood out to me. One is take it way back to your debut as an amateur. I mean, the guy you were matched up with, looking back, it's ridiculous, right? And
Yeah.
the fact that you had 5 rounds with a guy that, I mean, anyone in MMA knows, Sean O'Malley. How crazy is that looking back and knowing that that's the guy you fought in your amateur debut?
I actually I get asked this a lot about Sean O'Malley, but I mean it's cool. I'm like it's cool to see that like someone that I fought a long time ago they're doing great now, and obviously he's progressed a lot, and I think it's awesome. I think like people that I've competed with are doing great. It's just in the back of my mind I know I could do that too. So great on him, and maybe one day I'll see him again, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, right now you're on the best streak of your career. You're on a 4-fight win streak. Obviously, you had that layoff there with the knee injuries and the pandemic and your military career. Well, what is next for you? I mean, where do you see yourself going now in MMA? I mean, you've got your military, you've got MMA. What is next, and how quickly can we see you back in there?
So I'm getting out of the military now. So I have like 3 months left. So I'm just doing school, and then like once I'm done with school, I'll start like my term, like my last days of being in the military, my terminal leave, and I'll be out. So I'm pretty much out now. But I think what would be in my best interest would be getting on a bigger promotion for sure. And eat like something like LFA or CFFC, some non like with more a bigger audience, and then from there, just keep fighting until someone notices me. So that's all I'm trying to do is just keep fighting, and if it doesn't work out, at least I know I tried because I know I love this, and no matter what, even if I was on a 4-fight lose streak, I'd still be approaching this the same way of like just keep training and keep fighting, and I know something's gonna happen eventually. But
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully, what was that?
you're in a very good spot right now. I mean, 5-2 as a bantamweight is a very good record to have, especially considering the layoffs and everything that you've been through. 5-2 is a great record.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, hopefully I can get in. Honestly, someone was asking me if I could fight in 2 weeks after, like literally the day after my fight. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I feel fine. I feel like I can fight again. And um, it was a fight for LFA, but I mean, I haven't heard anything else yet from it. But we'll see if that happens or not. But I'm just, if I could fight next week or a month from now or whatever comes, really, like I don't care. You know.
I love that. I love that mentality. I think at this stage in your career, that's kind of what you need. You need that just go out and fight whoever, whenever, and that's kind of been the motto of your career. I mean, the guys you've fought haven't been slouches. I mean, we talked about Sean O'Malley, but I mean, you fought Tyson Lynn, you fought even Steven, the guy you just fought, and Mark Coates is a guy that beat you, and you went back and avenged that loss after a
Yeah.
few years. I mean, you've always fought the toughest guys available. What went behind that decision of just let me get the best guys rather than padded records, which is what you see a lot of guys do?
Yeah. It's funny. When I fought Mark Coates the second time, I was 1-2, and then he was 9-4.
Yeah.
So like it was a huge the commission had to approve me to even fight him. So like, is this right? Um, but I knew, I knew I've gotten. I didn't really understand MMA when I first started as a pro, and it sounds weird, but like even like just jujitsu and wrestling, like I was kind of like I was only a I've never done striking. Like when my first two or my first three pro fights, I literally have never done striking before. And then I got over here and I found a good striking coach. Actually, Micah Brown is huge on Instagram right now. His handle's like Coach Micah B. I'm sure like a lot of people would probably know who that is. And I actually found him, and then he just started working, not just stand up, but striking in all positions, like striking on top, striking in clinch, like in clinch situations. Obviously, striking from the feet, striking off our backs. So that I think he changed my game a lot, and like understanding like what he even helped my jujitsu, understanding jujitsu. Like I don't, and a lot of people don't have to be great at jujitsu to like dominate in MMA. It's just different, I competed in jujitsu for, since I was a little kid, and I wasn't used to like getting hit, and it's just different, even different conditioning. I didn't like, I wasn't conditioned for MMA, like, although I was like amazingly conditioned for wrestling and jujitsu. It was just different. I had to like work those things, and once I got that hack in my head, I was like, I know I can beat anyone. I see a lot of guys in the UFC, and I'm like, I don't think I'm that much off them from some of these guys, but it was just confidence in myself, and honestly, my coach's confidence in me too. Um, I was just I knew if these guys believed in me, then I should probably believe in myself too. So, but yeah, again, like I love competition, and to be the best, you got to beat the best guys. There's no way around it. It's gonna hit you eventually. So like whether it's now or like in the UFC. So to me, it's just an opportunity to fight these guys and learn where my holes are at and build off those holes.
I'll ask you a couple more questions here, and then I'll let you go. You talked a little bit about having a hard time with balancing your diet while training and in the military and everything like that. Obviously, you've competed as a bantamweight. Is a move to flyweight something that you could consider, given the fact that now you're going to be able to to diet and properly make that weight cut? And if so, I mean, the 5-2, there's guys in the UFC at 3-3 at flyweight.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I literally like for this last fight, I literally just skipped one meal and I was on weight. So, I was like, I dieted a little bit and then I skipped one meal and I was like, oh man, I don't even have to like run or sauna or anything. I'm on weight. And I was like still pretty hydrated. So yeah, I could definitely make 125. And I did in wrestling. I know I could do it in MMA, especially with a 24-hour rehydration. So yeah, I actually been pushing to like get fights at 125. But I mostly get offered fights at 135, so I just kind of take them. But I literally don't cut weight to make 135, and I don't mind it because I feel healthy and I feel like afterwards I don't have to recover as long, and even after the fight I feel like I'm generally healthier and I'm pretty conditioned during the fight, so I don't mind it. I know I'm strong and I know I'm more technical than a lot of guys in grappling. Maybe not in striking, but I I know how to be pretty defensive and offensive when it's when I'm in a good position. But yeah, I definitely want to make 125. I think that's definitely in the near future.
All right, I'll ask one more question here, and then I'll let you go. I mean, now you're going to be able to switch and primarily focus on this now that the military career is behind you. What is your ultimate goal in the sport? Is it UFC? Is it major organization? Is it UFC title? What is your ultimate dream in the sport of MMA?
I mean, just to be the best. If that's in the UFC, then yeah, I want that. I want to be a champion. And just really, if I can make this a lifestyle of just training and competing, then I'm fine with that. If it's just training, if I get down the road, I'm like, all right, maybe I should get done competing, then I'll just train. That's my goal is just to be happy, and I'm very happy just training. But for sure, like I'm extremely competitive. I know if I get in a position to like fight for a belt, I'm gonna try to get that belt. But that's my goal, is to be the best in the world at literally anything I do. So, and I love MMA, and I know I can be like the best in the world in MMA. So, like, yeah, I don't think that's too far off for me, and lots of work, but I love working hard. So,